Welcome to another video. So I've been thinking a lot over the last week, what are some things that I wish I knew when I was going back to school, when it came to my health and fitness? Now, I'm only going to speak to those in high school. And in Canada, well, at least where I live, high school is grade 9 to grade 12. And at the age of 30, I feel as though I have a unique perspective on some things that should have been told to me, even though I probably wouldn't have listened. And then some things that I wish people told me. I'm going to give you 5 things that I wish someone told me back then. And I'm going to tell you 5 things that I wish I did in order to have a successful year at school with my health, and also something that would set me up for later in life. So the first thing I wish someone would have told me was, if you properly consume the right breakfast, you're not going to feel the need to go all out at lunch, or you're not going to want to go all out with dinner. Because something that I had an issue with was eating nothing throughout the day. Maybe I would have a little something for breakfast, but I would skip lunch. And then I would have 4 or 5 plates worth of pasta for dinner, because we didn't have much growing up. I lived off of pasta, pork steak, and what other thing you can get on a budget at the time. Those things you can't really get on a budget anymore, but it depends on where you live. But don't skip your first 2 meals in the day, because if you skip the first 2 meals in the day, you're going to binge eat your dinner, which is not healthy. You do need at least 3 meals a day in order to successfully have a balanced diet. Now, I get it. You wake up in the morning, you don't have time, or even if you do have time in the morning, you're probably only gonna have like maybe an egg, or if you're lucky, maybe a banana, or even then you might just have like a pack of instant oatmeal, or even a protein bar, depending on what you're into, which honestly, great. Have something. Do I wish that you would have 2 eggs, a glass of milk or juice, and if you wanted maybe a protein bar on top of that, sure. And that's going to be the big thing too. If you consume a lot of protein, it'll help you throughout the day, because when, say you're at the dinner table, right? You have your proteins, your vegetables, your carbs. Now, something that you need to know, carbs are not the enemy. Carbs, just like anything else, you need in moderation. And there's no difference between healthy carbs or unhealthy carbs. There's no difference between good or bad. There's just carbs. Have them in moderation. Don't go all out like I did back in high school. Just because you can doesn't mean you should, and just because you have a fast metabolism now doesn't mean you're going to in 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now. So eat your protein first, then your vegetables, and then whatever carbs or starch you have after. That's the biggest thing I can tell you with food, is eat your protein first, especially first thing in the morning. Say you have 2 eggs, a slice of bacon, maybe a sausage link, and some toast. That is perfect. That is so perfect. Also, do not, actually, this is going to go into number 2. Drink lots of water. I don't think me or anyone else can stress this enough, that water is so important. It is what your body's mostly made out of. It is fuel for your digestive system. It's fuel for your brain, fuel for your heart. It's one of the most important things possible for your body. So make sure to get at least, in my opinion, make sure you get at least 2 liters a day. That seems like a lot, I understand, but really it isn't, because you go to the washroom, you're going to expel more than 2 liters a day anyway. It depends on how often you go to the washroom, but that's a conversation for a different time. So always make sure you're getting your water. Number 3, I think that one of the biggest tips, and I'm going to speak mostly to the guys out there for this one, if you see your buddy constantly like taking spoonfuls of peanut butter, don't do it. Like, I get it. It's a source of protein. It's a source of fats, which you do need some fats. I do recommend having fish at least once a week, but take it from someone that ate a lot of peanut butter in high school. Like, I was one of those people that just scooped it out of the container and ate it walking down the hall. Don't do it, because it's not guaranteed, but there is a possibility that you might grow an intolerance to it later with gastro issues, where, say, I have too much of it in a day and my farts get extremely horrible. Sorry to my fiance and my daughter. Number 4, make sure you're getting enough sleep. I know video games and hanging out with your friends and stuff like that is important, but make sure you're getting at least 8 hours of sleep a night. So going to bed at like 9 or 10, waking up at 6 or 7. These are important things that'll help you throughout your life, especially if you're playing sports, right? If you're playing sports, if you're working out, and that's going to be the next tip, make sure you're getting enough sleep for your body's recovery, and not just your physical, but your mental as well, because your mental health is also super important. Which I'm going to use that to lead into my next tip. Make sure you either have a counselor, and not just your school counselor. I mean, someone outside of the school, someone you could talk to. There was something, I don't know if it's still around, but when I was in high school, there was something called the Teen Health Center, where you can go and you can get a counselor, you can talk to someone. Make sure you do that. Even if you don't think you need it, you do. Even if you want to talk about how much you hate the fact that Mrs. Johnson in period 3 gave you a pop math quiz, go talk about it. Or there's this boy or girl you're like, whatever you're into, and you're not sure if they like you back, or should you go talk to them. Talk to your counselor. If there's something going on at home, talk to your counselor. If I did this back in high school, I have a feeling that my mental health as an adult would have been so much better. And signs of certain things would have been caught. Because I have a feeling if my ADHD was caught back in high school, my adult life would have been a little easier. Now, I'm not saying ask this counselor if you have ADHD, OCD, autism, or whatever. Like, if you want to, sure. But I mean, have a counselor, just someone to talk to. And also make sure you're doing regular visits with your guidance counselor. And regular, I mean like once every 2 to 3 months, in my opinion. Someone that's going to keep you on track with your school, depending on what you want to do in college or in life afterwards. Like being a doctor, being an architect, whatever you want to do. Make sure that you're talking with someone, right? And my next tip is going to be work out at least twice a week, in my opinion. If you work out twice a week, then you're setting yourself up and putting the building blocks in place in order to have a healthier life going forward. Now, am I talking go beast mode, balls to the walls, every single workout? You work out to failure? No. I just want you to do something, whether it's bicep curls or whether it's squatting, doing a bench. Make sure you do your compound lifts, right? Because your compound lifts are everything. Those are the basis of a healthy body. And if you have the extra funds, I would also say go get a trainer. Ask your mom or your dad if it's in the cards. I would say run with it, because a trainer nowadays, maybe not when I was in school, but nowadays they will not only teach you workout fundamentals like mobility and what's it called? Proper form. Why am I spacing on that? But they will also teach you the ins and outs of adding things to your nutrition or taking things out of your nutrition. I had a good trainer a couple years ago, just before COVID started, and there's little things that I still do now that he taught me. And I'm in my 30s now. God, I'm in my 30s. So make sure you're working out at least once or twice a week. Make sure you're walking. Get 5,000 to 10,000 steps a day if you can. I know that's harder when you're in school because you're sitting all day long, but I'd say do your best. If you can walk to and from school, do it. I did that back in high school, and it's the reason why I kept a moderate weight into my adult years, because I was in the 180s. Like, I'm tall. I'm a big guy. But I was thin throughout high school. I wish I would have. I'm going to use this to segue into the things I wish I would have done. First, I wish I would have stuck with working out. I tried a little bit here and there, but I was never consistent. And now as a 30-year-old, I'm like, I wish I would have done that. I wish I would have had a healthy relationship with working out and making sure that I worked out once, twice, even 3 times a week, because as an adult, I am one of those people that needs to work out at least a little bit every single day. I really wish I stuck with it, and more than just when I felt like it. Do it more than just when you feel like it. Do it on the days you don't think you feel like it or you don't want to. Obviously, you got to listen to your body and what it tells you. But if it's literally down to, I just don't feel like it, I don't want to, do it anyway. Do at least half an hour of working out, and your body will thank you in dividends. And not only that, but your mental health will thank you later on. I wish that I drank more water. I'm not going to get too much into this because I've already talked about it earlier, but I really do wish that I drank more water. That's so important. I wish I ate more and more balanced. That is something that I really regret, because I was a binge eater. I didn't eat throughout the day until such point as my mom gave me like $20 a week to go and get pizza for lunch, which back then was a steal. I could take $20 and it would last me all week. But before that happened, I wouldn't eat breakfast and lunch, and I would have 2 or 3 plates of whatever we had for dinner. So that's something I wish that I didn't do. My next thing would probably be, like, this isn't really a health and fitness tip, but making sure I spend more time with friends. Because I spent a lot of time at home. I spent a lot of time, especially in 9th and 10th grade, I spent a lot of time by myself. I really didn't go out all that often. It wasn't until grade 11 and grade 12 where I actually had a social life outside of school, but I was also having issues at home, so that's probably why. But yeah, making sure I spent more time with friends and family and stuff like that. I did spend every weekend I could at my grandma's, just because like grandma and grandpa were getting older, right? So I made sure to spend every weekend there. Plus it gave my parents a much needed break. Also another thing that I would say is not really a health and fitness tip. If you have this plan on being an NFL player, if you have this plan of being a singer, an actor, or whatever, go for it. Just go for it, but also make sure you're following your studies to a point where you have a plan B. Having that plan B is something I wish I had, because all I wanted to do was be a singer. That's all I wanted. I wrote songs throughout my other classes. I did music classes. That's all I wanted to do. Was I great at it? No. Hence why I'm not singing anymore these days. But I wish I had a plan B, and I wish I paid more attention to my grades. So it's been a week since I filmed the original video, and yes, I'm wearing the same clothes. I don't know why. But I realized I didn't film an outro. Anyway, here's the outro. If you enjoyed this video and you got something from it, especially if you're in high school, please leave a comment down below. I do want to do a part 2 where it's kind of like if I could write a letter to me type thing. But yeah, I'm excited for the next month worth of videos. A lot has already been filmed and uploaded, so it's just releasing them and stuff like that. Everything's scheduled. Also, if you want to support me, I have a sales contest that I'm in with Bucked Up. There's a link down below to Brain Gains Night and Day. It's a 2-pack for the same price. It's $50-something, but it's worth it. It's a nootropic. It's to help you focus and kill the day. There's other links down below if you would like to support me. Please like, subscribe, click all the things. I will see you in the next video. Have a great weekend.